There's so much confusion about how to eat these days. What I hear most is that people want to eat to achieve better overall health, they just want to feel better, and or they want to lose weight. I am here to simplify things for you. I do not want to overcomplicate it because I think we're all good at doing that. I am first going to give you a few eating tips because I think they are very crucial to understand before you start crafting your meal. My first tip is to eat real food and limit the empty calories which comes from highly processed food. Focus on fruits, veggies, lean proteins, healthy fats, and whole grains. These foods contain macro and micronutrients which fuel our bodies optimally and help our bodies to perform the way they are supposed to. So when I say limit empty calories, we know what that is, right? We don't want to do it, but we should limit the packaged foods, the cakes, the cookies, the chips, all the stuff that comes in a package that we know doesn't really provide any nutrition. I'm not saying you need to be perfect, but let's limit those foods, enjoy them when you want, but focus on real food. But if it is a packaged good, that is where reading ingredient labels is crucial. You can eat a processed snack that has healthy ingredients. If you're going to eat a packaged snack, try to learn a little bit about ingredients and what is actually in that snack food. My second tip is to make sure you eat all 3 macronutrients. If you don't know what that is, it's carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Do not think that it is necessary to eliminate carbs to be healthy, or don't think that fat is going to make you fat. That is not the case. All 3 macronutrients are very, very important in fueling the body. To put it simply, carbohydrates are our main primary energy and fuel source. Proteins aid in tissue growth and repair, and one of them being building skeletal muscle. And fats aid in hormone production, cellular growth, and aids in the digestion and absorption of certain vitamins. My third tip, very important, is to eat what you actually enjoy. Do not force yourself to eat a food just because it was deemed a superfood. If you don't enjoy it, just like exercise, do exercise you enjoy, eat foods that you actually enjoy. Start exploring different healthy foods that maybe you've never had before, and you will discover some nutritious foods that you never knew that you enjoyed. My fourth tip is how to eat, not just what to eat, but how to eat. Eat slowly, eat undistracted. Actually savor your food, eat very mindfully. Don't eat out of a bag. Get your serving, put it in a bowl, and eat the portion that you gave yourself. These are all very important mindful eating tips that will help you to just slow down and not forget that you actually just ate a meal. Another thing that goes along with how to eat is eat until you're satiated or comfortably full. We don't want to overeat to the point that we feel uncomfortably full. You also want to make sure you eat enough. You don't want to eat too little. And try to get in tune with your body. Listen to your hunger signals. Listen to your fullness signals. Don't wait to eat until you're ravenous, because then you may overeat. Good chance that'll happen. Listen to your body. If you feel a little bit of a hunger pang and you know it's been a few hours since you ate, maybe we're getting close to mealtime. And my last tip before we get into crafting the meal is why to eat. Why are we eating? I don't want you to eat because you're feeling a certain emotion that may be negative, such as boredom or sadness or stress. You also don't want to eat just because the clock said it's a certain time. If you are not hungry, then maybe it's not time. Also, if we're at an event or at a party, we feel this pressure to fill our plates. If you're not hungry, you don't have to eat at that time. There's so many different reasons for why we want to eat. If you are at a party and you feel like, well, if I don't eat now, I'm not going to have the opportunity later, you just have to figure it out in the moment. Maybe eat something small if you're not starving, because you know you're not going to get food for many, many hours. You have to just figure it out along the way. And lastly, I know a lot of people can be on a certain athletic or fitness journey, and there might be certain guidelines that you want to follow to meet those fitness goals. So that's totally fine too. It's just everybody's very different, and figuring out the why we're eating, it's actually very important. I don't think that most people think about why they're eating. We just eat. Sometimes we see food, we smell food, we eat food, and it wasn't really in our plan. It can be complicated, but it's all just a journey. It's a learning process, something that I'm very interested in. So I hope that this is opening your minds to thinking about food and how and why we eat it. The meal guidelines I'm going to give you are for the general adult population. Of course, if you have any medical issues, food sensitivities, food intolerances, anything going on like that, please speak with your doctor or your registered dietitian. There's no one size fits all when it comes to building this perfect plate for our meals. We are all so different. But if you consider yourself a beginner, you are confused, you literally do not know how to craft a healthy meal, you're just like, what am I supposed to do? Don't worry, I've got you covered. When I see that people's meals are kind of all over the place and there's really no structure or plan and there's a lot of confusion, I like to tell people to try to focus on their 3 square meals a day, a good breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Get yourself 3 solid meals spread apart by, several hours that will keep you satiated and that you actually enjoy and are nutritious. Each meal should contain carbs, proteins, and fats. Each have their own role. They're all very important. So it could be helpful to maybe grab a dish that actually has 3 sections to remind you that we need to eat our carbs, fat, and protein. That could be something you do in the beginning, or you can just imagine that there's 3 sections on your plate. So carbohydrates, what carbohydrates can we eat at our meal? Well, we've got fruits and vegetables. That's a good place to start. Don't be afraid of putting fruit on your dish at lunch or dinner time. That's fine. We don't have to reserve fruits for just snack time. Fruits and vegetables are loaded with vitamins, minerals, water, fiber, phytochemicals, and antioxidants. They are grown from the ground, which means they are real. They are unprocessed. They will feed your body what you need to function optimally. Examples, we don't have to think too hard about fruits and vegetables, but fruits, we've got berries, we've got melons, citrus fruits, like take your pick. And when it comes to vegetables, the sky's the limit. Some vegetables that I enjoy a lot, I like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, carrots, leafy greens, cabbage. I like all of that stuff. So take your pick. You can eat them raw, you can cook them up, whatever you prefer, just get them in. Whole grains are also considered a carbohydrate, and yes, you can add them onto your plate. Now, you're probably thinking we've got vegetables, fruits, and whole grains. Like, what am I supposed to do? You can mix it up. You could have all 3. You can choose just 2 or maybe just 1. Like, don't put too many rules on yourself. Just like experiment. Just make sure you get some carbohydrates in there. Most vegetables are very low carb. There's a few that are higher carb, but for the most part, vegetables are low carb. So I would absolutely always get those vegetables on your plate and then maybe pick the fruit or the grain or a little bit of both, like I said. Examples of whole grains are oats, barley, quinoa, rice. They're all very high fiber. They have lots of vitamins and minerals. They are slower to digest, so that helps to level out your blood sugar. And they are satiating. The next section on your plate is for your proteins. Now we've got animal proteins and we've got plant-based proteins. Some people do not eat animal proteins, and that is totally fine. That is your decision for whatever reason that may be. If you are someone who is an omnivore, which means you eat animal proteins and plant proteins, some of the animal proteins could be chicken, beef, fish, milk, cheese, and bone broth is actually something I really enjoy. If you are a vegan and you're only consuming plant-based proteins, you've got tofu, tempeh, seitan, beans, legumes, nuts, nut butters, seeds, and seed butters. Most of these plant proteins that I just described are not just proteins. They actually also have some carbs in there and some fats, depending on what it is. So that's fine, but those do contain protein. Even quinoa has a hefty amount of protein for being primarily a carbohydrate source. But don't let this all confuse you. The main message here is to eat real food that has nutritional value and to not eliminate carbs, fats, or proteins. They're all important. And the third component of your meal that is balanced and healthy and nutritious is fats. Some examples of fats are oils. My favorites are avocado oil and extra virgin olive oil. Coconut oil is also really great. I haven't been using that so much lately, but I think I'm going to. Avocado is a fruit, but it's primarily a fat source, so we lump that into the fat category. And again, we've got nuts and nut butters and seeds and seed butter. Those are primarily fat sources, but again, you will find protein in them, which is very helpful if you are a vegan. The last part we're going to talk about here is How much are we supposed to eat? I know that that is a big question for people. Like, they don't know how much to eat, but they don't want to start tracking calories or counting their macros and all that. And I completely support that, because that can be really frustrating and annoying. And you feel like every time you eat, you're just like thinking too hard about what you're eating. So there is something called the hand portion method, which I follow from Precision Nutrition, and I will put a link below to a great article by them to help you out. But just to give you a little introduction to all of that, if you are not sure how much to put on your plate of the carbs, fats, and the proteins, here's something to keep in mind. A portion of protein is the palm of your hand. One portion of vegetables is your fist. A portion of carbs is a cupped hand, and a portion of fats is your thumb. Now that you know that, there's a general guideline for men and women. So at each meal, if you're trying to figure out like how much protein, like how many servings am I having, women are generally gonna have that 1 serving of protein, and men, you can have 2. Same thing with fats. 1 thumb for women, 2 thumbs for men. And then when it comes to the carbs, when it comes to the leafy vegetables, like the very non-starchy vegetables, women 1 cupped hand and men 2. These are just very general, like, starting points. Everybody is different. It's a starting point, and then you can see how you feel. Listen to your hunger signals, listen to your fullness signals. Practice. This is all a practice if you're looking to better your diet for whatever health reasons you have. Starting points are very important, and then listening to your body, seeing how you feel. You'll figure it out. Just trust yourself and do not stress over it. That is so important. Don't stress over this. Everything in life that we're looking to achieve and get better at takes practice. There's no fast track to achieving anything. I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you have anything else you would like to see from us, please comment below, send us an email, let us know what you want to see, and we will provide that for you. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in our next video. Bye.